Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and to today's video. So this is going to be slightly different content, and this is regarding the new Fimi X8 Mini, which is due to be launched shortly and potentially a huge rival for the DJI Mini 2. So what is the Fimi X8 Mini then? So the Fimi X8 Mini is the smaller version of the Fimi X8, which is already on the market, okay? And there is some good points and some bad points about this, or one particular bad point, which of course is going to affect absolutely everybody that's potentially interested in buying this drone. Okay, so this is a new incarnation from Fimi, and this is due to be launched in the next few weeks, and I'm genuinely thinking about getting one for the channel. I have done so much research on this drone already, including conversations with Banggood, with which obviously that's the main primary retail outlet for this, and I've spoken to Fimi themselves as well to ascertain some more specs. But now they're fully launched and available, so hopefully I can give you a bit of an insight. So at the end of the video, I would love to hear your thoughts whether you think this Fimi X8 Mini is actually going to be a rival for the DJI Mini 2, okay? And more importantly, this is going to be the interesting question. Will the launch of the Fimi X8 Mini force DJI to possibly give us some more features, such as a more of an active track, because this is one of the features that is going to be active on the Mini, the X8 Mini. So let's get into the full specs now, and then let's see what you think at the end. As you can see, this is the Fimi X8 Mini, and it advertises itself as a 250 gram class ultralight design. Now notice that 250 gram class, because that's going to be relevant at the end. Okay, so we've got an 8 kilometer transmission range, which is obviously in line with what the DJI Mini 2 can do. They say 10. 8 obviously is more than enough. So 30-minute flight time, which is about right to what we're expecting. So we've got, as you can see, we've got Type-C fast charging, we've got 4K HDR video, which is really exciting. And then we've got 3-axis mechanical gimbal camera, which of course you would fully expect from a drone. I don't think we're going to be going back to anything less than 3-axis gimbal cameras. And then once again, the ever sort of vague level 5 wind resistance, with no real figures on what that wind resistance actually is. So yeah, level 5 wind resistance, what is that? Let me know what you think in the comments below. So yeah, again, they're telling us about the 250 gram class ultralight design. Okay, now this is the big issue when it comes to this drone, and I want to get into this straight away. Okay, so having spoken to Banggood and having spoken to Fimi, this is actually going to be launched as 2 models. So you're going to have the standard model and you're going to have the Pro model. All right, now like I said, I did try to get an answer on this just to clear this up, because I'm genuinely thinking about getting one of these for the channel, and it looks really an impressive piece of kit. Okay, so if you have a look on screen now, you can see the weight of the drone with the standard battery is 258 grams. Almost useless for us guys, as you probably are aware. All right, we need this to be under 249 grams, which is a good thing because they offer a Pro battery, and this Pro battery, as you can see, the weight of the drone with the Pro battery is 245 grams. Even though the batteries are different, okay, and one is slightly lighter, and that's basically because one is a LiPo battery and the standard is a lithium ion battery, similar to the battery weight in the DJI Mavic Mini and the Mini 2, there is a problem. So if you look on screen, they are actually different shapes. And what I'm reliably advised from Fimi, well, I say reliably, this is sort of some of the research I've been doing with them. Whether I've been advised correctly or not, I do not know. But at this current moment in time, I am advised that the Pro battery will not fit the standard model. Okay, so at the minute they're launching the standard edition. I've not yet managed to get a release date for the Pro version. I am pushing for an answer for that. But ultimately, if you get the launch version, which you can sort of pre-order on Banggood or what's the other one, AliExpress, that's the standard drone in white, and it comes with 1 battery, and it's going to be 258 grams. So you might want to hold off on that one and wait for the Pro model, because that's where it's really going to open up possibilities pretty much worldwide, to be perfectly honest. 30-minute flight time. You know, they're not going to launch something that's less than DJI, I wouldn't have thought. So equipped with a standard battery, the drone can fly up to 30 minutes in a windless environment at a speed of 6 meters per second. I actually think that's slightly faster than what the Mini 2 was tested in. Yeah, there we go. So max flight time, 31 minutes while flying at 4.7 meters per second in windless conditions. So actually, you could argue that the battery life is slightly better on the Fimi. And with the Pro battery, the drone can fly 31 minutes in windless conditions at a speed of 6 meters per second. So yeah, so you've got to say that the battery is possibly better because it's been tested at a greater speed. You'd have to think that the greater speed, the more battery usage. So the Fimi might have the slight edge on DJI Mini 2 when it comes to the battery performance. Type-C fast charging battery, that's what we'd expect. And again, stabilised 3-axis mechanical gimbal, absolutely what we'd expect as well. Right, so on to the next thing then, we have 4K HDR video. So the camera features 4K 30 video and highly dynamic range, meaning clearer footage. Videos are shot in the H.265. That's going to be interesting that it doesn't do 264. And it's got F-Log and DNG. So it's interesting that they've gone to go with DNG rather than... So yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. It's just a slightly different way of going. Most people deal with RAW, but the only one downside is, again, making sure that your photo editor can deal with the DNG files, but any good one, such as Lightroom, should be able to do that, you would have thought, especially since it was pioneered by Adobe. This is going to be a cool feature, direct flight with your smartphone. So you don't even need to use the controller. As you can see, the drone can connect to your mobile phone via Wi-Fi, even without the remote controller. The high bandwidth, low latency and strong anti-interference 5.8 GHz high-frequency signal creates up to 100 meters of real-time HD image transmission, so you can quickly record it without having to get your drone out the case. Again, I think that's actually quite a neat feature. You know, how many times have you got your drone and it's in your bag, and then, you know, especially with the, you know, this Mini 2, and what you've got to do is, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great drone, but you've got your phone in your pocket already, but you quickly have a shooting opportunity, and then you've got to unfold all the drone, and then make sure your SD card's in it, and then turn the drone on. Obviously, make sure you've got all your phone into your controller, pulled up the sticks, mounted your phone. Yeah, I mean, that could save a bit of time. You know, if you was out in the countryside and you know, there's some sort of wildlife going by, or, you know, something that you want to quickly capture, that, you know, that could be quite a decent little bit of kit. So I'm quite impressed with that. Level 5 wind resistance. Yeah, so obviously it's telling us it's got level 5 wind resistance, but it's not actually telling us what that speed may be, or what that resistance will be. So yeah, anyone's guess on that one. All right. If you have seen the Fimi X8 2020, again, you can see the phone mounts in the middle of the controller, and yeah, slightly different way of doing it, I suppose. Now, here's a huge feature. Okay, so what we have, okay, what they call smart tracking modes. So it can lock onto a target. Now, I would love to see more information as to what exactly these modes are going to be, but this is sure to be exciting. Now, this is what I mean, okay? So the fact that this Fimi X8 Mini is going to have some smart modes, does that mean that might force DJI to add some more smart modes into the DJI Mini 2? Especially when you can see on screen the powerful flight plan shooting. So clearly this Fimi X8 Mini has got some sort of waypoints, okay? Something that us DJI owners would love to have. I mean, Christ, we don't even have waypoints on the Mavic Air 2, okay? Other than when you're using the hyperlapse option, of course. So again, that is going to be a huge feature, and I mean a huge feature. Time lapse, exactly as we would expect. One tap panorama, which is obviously going to be handy for you photographers. And look at that, live streaming. All right, so literally you could live stream via social media platforms. That could be so cool if you are doing a demonstration on the drone. And, you know, if that gives you the ability to live stream to YouTube, I would love that for you guys. So I could literally get this drone, go out, live stream, and you guys could comment at the same time as I'm actually flying. That would be a really, really impressive feature. I would love that. Okay, night shooting. This is a China product. Okay, so they tend to do these little demonstrations on screen where they show, oh my god, you know, this is what we're capable of and this is what it will normal. Yeah, if you've ever bought anything on AliExpress, when they try and advertise some things, it's just hilarious. No motion blur and loads of blur, and it would never look like the example I've given you before. But yeah, interesting. Search and rescue mode. With a 3x digital zoom, GPS positioning, lightweight, 8-kilometer transmission, it must be great in a search and rescue task. Well, so as you can see, it's a totally redesigned user interface. The app is more intuitive to use, or so they tell us. Of course, we don't have anything to compare it to at the moment. It offers a plug-and-play feature connecting the remote and your mobile device via the on-the-go cable, so there are no more complicated settings. So just to let you know, this is how many people found out this drone was actually coming. Okay, basically Fimi launched the Mini app on the Google Play Store. And it was launched back in January, I believe. So that's when people started getting a sniff of this drone. And that's when initially, back in January, I actually contacted Fimi for more information on this drone. So, you know, I have been sort of doing quite a lot of research on this for quite some time. Precision landing, again, you know, if this works and it does actually have precision landing, you know, it utilizes the downside camera to recognize a launch pad and can land right on it. So I did a video where I tested the DJI Mini 2 against the Mavic Mini in a launch pad sort of return to home landing accuracy test. And I did that using a landing pad. And to be honest, they got you in the area, and there was a little bit off, maybe sort of 3 feet off, something like that. But return to home on a DJI drone, I say it should be used as a safety feature. So if you do lose connection or lose your orientation, then use return to home, and as soon as you get close to back where you are, just cancel return to home and land manually. But if this really does have the precision landing, again, that's absolutely fantastic. Everything here you would fully expect. So it's just telling us it's got return to home mode, of course it does. GPS real-time tracking, of course it does. Wind warnings, yep, you're going to get that. Excessive power warnings, yep, you see that a lot on the DJI Mavic Mini. Low battery, alarm return, perfect. Non-fly zone protection, okay? So I want to delve into this in a little bit more, and the reason for that is because from what I've been understanding and hearing on the grapevine and through other sources, what this will do is if you are flying along and the drone enters a non-fly zone, or determines it's going to enter a non-fly zone, rather than entering in it and causing you issues potentially or violations of that area, the drone will actually just begin to hover and it won't actually enter that zone. Now, if that's correct, that's a really, really good feature. So I'm, again, really, really impressed with that. So if we look at the dimensions, so it's going to be unfolded ever so slightly bigger than the DJI Mini 2. Max flight speed, 15 meters per second. Again, that's the exact same as the DJI Mini 2 in sport mode. Max descending speed 3.5 and max ascending speed 5 meters. Let's have a look. Max ascending speed, yeah, so they're exactly the same. So let's look at the camera then and just compare that. So we have, it's quite interesting, the 80-degree field of view. Now let's compare that to the DJI Mini 2, and that is 83.4mm compared to 26mm. So we've got that little bit more focal distance there. 12 megapixel camera, which is exactly the same as the DJI Mini 2. Got that 100 megabits bit rate again, which is the same as the Mini 2. The only thing, as you can see, you know, our max resolution is 3840 by 2160, which of course is 4K, and that's up to 30 frames per second. As you can see, there's no real details on anything which is lower than that, so there's no information on what the modes are in 1080p or if it does 2.7K. Maybe somebody that's originally got the X8 could maybe give some insight on that as to just what modes are available on that, because we could probably expect them to be the same, but of course you never know. And again, we're just looking at the battery here, and you can see that physical weight difference, 102 grams compared to 86 grams. That's going to be a bit of a major issue, of course, because, you know, unless it's under the 249 grams, yeah, it's pretty pointless. I don't know, guys, what do you think? So that's the full on spec of the Fimi X8 Mini, including some of the comparisons compared to the Mini 2. So what do you actually think of this drone? So I think it's going to be a really interesting purchase, and if it does come with all of those features, then that makes it a really, really strong contender. One thing I am curious to see as well is one thing I haven't quite covered yet in this video, is it is fixed, okay? So it doesn't actually have a 2.4 gigahertz transmission frequency, and it only works on 5.8. Now, I'm wondering how that is going to work in terms of legality in sort of European countries. The higher outputs are legal in the US with the FCC sort of authorization, whereas we are sort of downgraded somewhat, so we have generally less power on our drones, or indeed with the Mini 2 there's actually no hardware differences. So when this drone detects it's flying outside of the US, the transmission power is limited. So I'm wondering what will happen with the Fimi X8 Mini when it comes to that. Will China care where it's being flown? Will the drone even be legal over here given its transmission power? That's going to be an interesting question. Let's look at what comes with it. So you get the aircraft, you get a gimbal cover, you get some cables depending on your phone, USB charging cable, screws, which are going to be prop screws I would imagine, you get a screwdriver, your spare props, and your battery. Now there is absolutely no word at the moment in terms of any fly more combo if you wish, whether it comes with you know, any additional batteries, whether you can purchase them. All we know is at the moment there is going to be two versions. There's going to be a standard version, there's going to be a pro version. The pro version battery, which gives you the less weight, doesn't fit the standard drone is what I'm being told at the moment. But ultimately the active track, the being able to fly it direct from your phone without having to plug it in the controller, honestly, the waypoints, the active tracks, and everything else about it seems almost similar spec to the DJI Mini 2. So ultimately, will the camera quality be as good? And I guess that's something we're just going to have to wait and find out. So what do you think on this drone? Are you a fan of the orange? Because that's a bit of a conversation starter, isn't it? You know, that'll solve some visibility issues and save money on buying wraps if you can just buy it in orange and it becomes more visible in the sky. So again, have Fimi thought of everything? Who knows? You know. So anyway, let me know what you think. Will this be a great rival for the DJI Mini 2, or will it actually force DJI to give us more modes and possibly increase the capabilities on the Mini 2 to compete with Fimi? That's going to be an interesting question. Is it something that you're going to be interested in buying yourself? Who knows? You let me know in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this video useful. Sorry it's gone on a little bit too long, but there is quite a lot to cover at the launch of a brand new drone. Thank you for watching. See you again soon.